My transparent eyes can see into your soul! Hey everybody, here to you, and welcome back to Let's Play Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion. In the previous episode, we conquered levels A4 and A3B1. I gotta come up with a better intro for that. But in today's episode, we're gonna be finishing off Line A with a blast from the past of Far Out Station. Whenever I hear the term Far Out, that reminds me of Back to the Future 3 when Marty McFly finds that one frisbee. I was like, hey, look, a frisbee, far out. But they're cowboys, so they don't understand that terminology, and they're like, what was that all about? So right in front of him. Alright, so I'm going to give myself a little bit more of a challenge with this one and going with the splat roller instead. And we can see the sea cucumbers now on the wall. He's just so cute and tiny. You're missing here is simple. Carry the Rainmaker to the enemy goal. Please tell me this is not... No! Already? No! Looks like they're waiting for you. Time to make it rain. Why this one? Okay. This level is Rainmaker on Port Mackerel. And there's octolings everywhere! This one is hard! This is a really hard one. Okay, so I wouldn't say this is the most hard level in Octo Expansion. We're going to get to that eventually. But this is definitely one of the more trickier ones. Because octolings are going to be following you everywhere. They're kind of a pain in the butt to fight. And if you're not fast enough to get back to the Rainmaker, it's going to disappear. Meaning that you need to backtrack all the way back over there. So what I recommend you do is, if you weren't chicken like me, I would recommend you carry the Rainmaker around. That wasn't where I was trying to go with that, but I got distracted for a moment. What I recommend you do is destroy as many octolings near you as possible. They will still spawn, but they will be destroyed for just a few seconds, which means you can get back over here. Come on! Yes! First try! First try! In your face, Port Mackerel! Yes! Woo! I was so nervous about recording that for the Let's Play, but we did it on our first try. That was awesome! There are new entries in the chat logs, so I sent them along and check them out sometime. And we've completed all of the memcakes from Line A. Wait, let me make sure I understand you right. You complete a whole series? That's special. That's something else. I always wanted to see a full set. Is he gonna give us a reward? Is it chocolate? Is it eggnog? Is it chocolate eggnog? That's gross. Well, the full set tells an interesting story, doesn't it? One good turn deserves another. Try this on for size when you reach the promised land. And we get the Octoling Shades. Keep challenging those tests, young squire. I'll leave your gifts to the Elder Squid. And to show me any more memcakes you find, it's never a bother, I assure you. So while we're on the topic of memcakes real quick, I've already said before that we're not going to be reading these verbally during the Let's Play, but something that is really cool about them is that they were written from Agent 8's point of view. So it's pretty nice that even though Agent 8 is still a silent protagonist, that they still gave her a voice, even though she doesn't actually speak during the gameplay. Now we're moving on to the final level we'll be playing in today's video, right on Gnarly Rail Station. Was gnarly really a word people said? Alright, we have the dual squelchers. Let's talk to you, Sea Cucumber, even though we're not going to be reading your dialogue verbally. Just checking it out for the people at home who want to read it on their own time. Hooray for editing! Okay, so this is a grind rail level. So basically the entire level is going to be played on a bit of a linear path where you want to be careful and jump out at just the right time, otherwise you're going to die like I did a moment ago. So definitely want to be careful about that. So what we want to do over here is just continue on our merry way through our path of glory. Definitely destroy the boxes if you ever get the chance, because you kind of need to. Alright, take care of you. I don't know if there's a way you can get this area faster. There might be. I'm sure there's like some kind of magical speedrunning tactic that makes these levels way faster to complete, and we just died right there because I mistimed my jump, because it's really hard to do this while commentating. Alright, let's try that again. Hopefully this time without fail. Thankfully they give you 5 lives in this one, because I know this is probably one of the more trickier levels to complete. So that's fine. Ah! See if you can activate ride rails by exploding the balloonfish. Man, when your waifu is giving you the tutorials, it suddenly makes the tutorials so much more bearable. Alright, let's be careful! Eep, 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 eep. Ah! I'm a sniper! I'm a sniper! Ah! Drinking fish! Drinking fish! Ah! Ah! It's watching the shark! I hate this planet! I suppose if you get the reference. Alright, we took care of you. Let's just try that now. And we're on the final checkpoint. I'm losing all the manly points while doing this let's play. Watch her step the whole way through Agent 8! Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, in case you couldn't tell, I am not good at these levels at all, so be certain. So definitely get used to me screaming like a little girl every time we play through these levels, because you're going to hear that a lot. Alright, so it's... Wow. 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 Agent 8, looks like you're struggling a bit out there. This test is a tough one, that's for sure. Isn't there something we can do, Marina? Well, actually, I just ran an analysis of the Commando Company network, and I think I can hack in and use the accumulated data from all of Agent 8's attempts to trick the system into thinking this test has already been cleared. Are you freaking serious? Heck yes! Is there anything you can't do, Marina? Agent 8, if you really want to do this, just give me the word and press X. This is kind of like a get out of jail free card, if you will. Basically what this means is that if you're really struggling on a level, you can press the X button to ask for help, which will allow you to skip the level. But this means you will not get the mem cake, so if you want to go for 100%, you have to beat the level yourself. You can also think of this as like the Luigi beating the level for you in the new Super Mario Brothers games. I've never really been a big fan of that, but at least in this game it doesn't constantly remind you that that's a thing whenever you die. So that's pretty nice. Ah, I keep forgetting about that thing! I am not good at these things, and I never will be. These are still really fun levels, but I'm just not very good at them. So I do apologize for my cringy gameplay. Or at least gameplay that's more cringy than usual. I totally aim for that! Alright, let's try this one more time. We can do this, Agent 8, I believe in you. Yay! We did it! Don't jump off to the side this time. And we did it! Yes! Test passed! You have unlocked 4 lines. You can view them on the Deep Sea Metro map. None of the 4 things can be found there. Try searching for a different line. I'd like to offer you a reward for finding this new line. Please pay me a visit. So, technically speaking, if I remember correctly, you don't actually have to complete every single level. You only need to complete the ones that have those things in them. So, if you want to do the bare minimum, that's your target. So, we're going to be finishing off the Octo expansion portion of this video. In the next episode, we'll begin in line B. So after we finish talking to Sea Cucumber, I'm going to meet you guys in the magical land of imaginary save file. I never noticed that before. These things are on each Padre's head. That's kind of a cute detail. I really hope I pronounced his name correctly. And I got Cuttlefish head too! Yo, I'm gonna go cop up some snacks. Peace! Okay, gotcha. MC Princess has left the chat room. Roger Dodger. FYI, I've been using the CQ80's coordinates to gather location data as Agent 8 passes the test. This place must be deep beneath the surface, so it seems to be under the influence of a powerful magnetic force. Too powerful for conventional models to simulate, actually. Based on the numbers I'm seeing, powerful enough to distort space-time itself. Captain, have you observed any abnormalities in the surrounding areas? Is that supposed to be some kind of secret code, or did you just butt text me? Okay, definitely butt texting. Right. Anyway, it's almost like your location is in a different dimension in Agapolis. As long as Agent Nate keeps passing tests, we should be able to figure out what's going on. We'll support you as much as we can, Agent 8. Keep it up. Not only is Marina, to be putting it very bluntly, not only is Marina really freaking hot, she's also super smart and can hack into things and is a computer nerd. She's the best waifu ever. Except for Lara Croft. I love you, Lara Croft. Hello, lovely people, and welcome back to the imaginary land of Ultimate Save File. Did you do something different with your hair? Because it looks amazing. Alrighty then, starting off with this video, we'll be playing it through Clam Blitz on Humpback Pump Track, combining one thing that I love with one thing that I hate with every fiber of my being. Alright, so Clam Blitz on Humpback Pump Track is pretty interesting. It's actually probably my favorite way to play this stage, simply just because of the fact that it's pretty easy to get to the clam basket. But a lot of my problems with Humpback Pump Track is that a lot of the objectives in this stage usually are pretty limited in how many ways you can get there. Like, for example, Rainmaker, there's pretty much only one way to get to the opponent's Rainmaker base, and it can get pretty predictable and repetitive when playing through it. But with Clam Blitz, the basket, there's so many places you can potentially get to the basket, which is one of the big things I love about this mode in general, and it's especially highlighted in this stage. But enough about all that, because this is all stuff we've heard before. What we haven't heard before are the weapons we'll be talking about in this video. So we'll be discussing 3 weapon families in today's video, which happen to be the last of the shooter weapons in the game. There's the Splattershot Pro, the point and see words are difficult to speak. There's the Splattershot Pro, the .96 Gal, and the Jet Squelcher. So the Splattershot Pro has mid-damage, long range, and is in fact one of the longest ranged weapons in the game, at least as far as I know. But unfortunately, it has a very slow fire rate, and the ink consumption is pretty bad. It's going to eat away at your ink very quickly. So get used to swimming around your ink when you're using the Splattershot Pro weapons. The first one is the Splattershot Pro. It's unlocked at level 10, comes with a point sensor and an ink storm. The Forward Splattershot Pro is unlocked at level 20. This comes with a suction bomb and a bubble blower. This one's pretty interesting, which we'll be getting into in a moment. But there's also the Kensa Splattershot Pro. The Kensa Splattershot Pro comes with a Splat Bomb, Booyah Bomb, and is unlocked at level 23. And it actually replaces a weapon from the original game. In the first game, there was a weapon called the Berry Splattershot Pro. I believe it was very similar to the Kansas Splattershot Pro in terms of skills and things like that, and attributes. But I might be mistaken about that because I didn't really use that weapon too much. That right there was a strategy that I felt really proud of for a moment that you saw on screen, where I was tossing my clams over to my buddy over there. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that well because we both ended up getting splatted. So, it was a good effort, just didn't work out in the end because I'm bad at video games. But anyway, back to the weapons. So, the Forward Splattershot Pro. This one is very interesting because this was the first weapon in Splatoon to use the Bubble Blower weapon. And anything that introduces a bubble to a series is automatically amazing. Because the Bubble Blower, it's pretty awesome. I would love to use it more, but unfortunately, it doesn't really come, it's not really a part of any weapons that I personally use on my own time. But the Bubble Blower is still a pretty amazing weapon if you know what you're doing, which can kind of be said about every weapon in this game. So the next family of weapons is the .96 Gal. I don't use this weapon at all. I don't really like it that much. I don't really see a whole lot of people use it that much online, but the ones that I have seen have been pretty good. I just don't personally use this one that much. The .96 Gal has high damage, long range, but of course has slow fire. It has a slow fire rate, and the accuracy is really bad on this thing. And on top of that, it also has a very high Inca consumage. Is that proper grammar? That was a very weird way to word that. The better way to word that smart people would use would be that it consumes ink very quickly. Anyway, this is a weapon that I don't really use that much because, like I said, it consumes ink very fast, and I don't like it that much. There's only two versions of this weapon. There is the .96 Gal, which comes with the sprinkler and ink armor, and it's unlocked at level 21, so you're probably not going to see these things on your own playthrough until you're pretty far, until you've already logged in a lot time in Splatoon 2. So that's a little unfortunate for people out there who like these weapons. You're going to need to use other things for a little while before you can actually unlock these things. The other one is the .96 Gal Deco, which comes with a splash wall and a splash down. So many splashes. It's Paper Mario Splash all over again. And this round is coming to an end. Who's going to come out on top? Who will it be? We already know because we can see the thing on screen. And the barrier is back up. I will admit, I was very nervous during this match because I've had so many Clam Blitz matches where we were completely dominating them, and then at the very last minute they open our basket and are able to like completely take in all of their footballs and completely destroy us. Also, that victory animation right there with the Octoling girl and the dualies is probably my favorite in the Splatoon series. It's just so adorable. And next up is a Clam Blitz on Blackbelly Skate Park. Bleh, words. Blackberry Skate Park. It kind of sounds like some kind of it kind of sounds like a carnival attraction you'd see at a carnival or something like that in like a farm or something. But anyway, now we'll be talking about the last weapon family for the day, the Jet Squelcher. There are two of them to be exact. Almost read my notes wrong. There's the regular Jet Squelcher, which comes with Toxic Mist, and the Tenta Missiles. Toxic Mist is a pretty interesting sub-weapon. If I remember correctly, what it does is that when you attack somebody with it, it kind of disrupts them for a moment. I might be wrong about that. If I am, I put a caption on screen. I don't ever use Toxic Mist that much, but I see a lot of people use them online. It's one of those things where I never personally use them, but when I come across somebody who does, I usually get my butt kicked. The regular Jet Squelcher is unlocked at level 17, and the custom Jet Squelcher comes with a Burst Bomb and a Stingray. Ooh, watch out for that one. And it's unlocked at level 27. The Jet Squelcher itself is pretty interesting because it has a very low damage rate, but it also has quite possibly the longest range in its class. So this is a pretty good one if you want to use a weapon that has a lot of range to it, but you don't necessarily want to commit to a sniper weapon or anything like that. The downside though, it has a very slow fire rate, so you're probably not going to be attacking that much. Just keep that in mind if you're going to go for a Jet Squelcher. And that was the last of the pseudo weapons we'll be discussing in Splatoon 2. But there is one other one that I was kind of wondering how I'd handle it when I was planning out this Let's Play. Because there's another weapon called a Dually Squelcher. And the Dual Squelchers, I wasn't really sure whether to classify them as a shooter or a dually because different sources put them under different things. I decided to put them under dualies for a couple of reasons. There's already a lot of shooters, and I decided to kind of spread them out a little bit more evenly as I could. And it also seems like it plays more like a dually than it does a shooter. So that's the reason why we're not going to be talking about dual squelchers in this video. We'll save that for another time. And that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about with the weapons in this video, so let's talk about the stage. Blackbelly Skate Park is weird. This is one that it honestly feels like I change my mind every other day on whether or not I like the stage or not. It's fine on Turf War. I like how it changes during ranked battles, but I don't know, just something about it kind of bothers me at times. It might be the fact that the central pillar in the center of the map can be a little bit intimidating to approach because there's probably usually somebody up there and they usually are pretty good at defending themselves, but at the same time, it's also kind of easy to sneak up on them if you know what you're doing, and most of the time I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm not that big of a fan of this stage, at least in my current mindset, but that's probably going to be changing tomorrow, and I'll be like, oh my goodness, the graces with gravy, this is the greatest stage ever, what was I thinking yesterday? Anyway. One thing that's pretty interesting that I remember about the stage was that the local multiplayer modes in the first game, this was one of the stages that was playable during the, what's it called? I think it's called the Booyah base in the first game. It's been a little while since I recorded that video for the first Let's Play, so I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But yeah, it was one of the very few stages in the original game that could be played during local multiplayer. And if you saw anything about my original Let's Play, you should know that they never changed it. So that's joyful. Right there, we saw a moment ago. It's a pretty good strategy to take the football. Well, no doubt that's what the goal for this minigame mode thingy. But what I meant to say was that it's usually a good idea to have somebody camp under there and make sure that they can carry the football. Now, this strategy is actually a little bit different if you're playing one-on-one. What I like doing when I'm playing one-on-one against somebody in Clan Blitz is I like leaving the football there and trying to form my own clan somewhere else, because the thing is, that football will stay there forever, I think. So I usually like keeping it there so that just in case I lose another football later down the line, I still have a football that I can pick up and carry over to the Clan Blitz basket. And I know there's an official name for it, I just like calling it a football because I can never remember the official name. And the match is going to be coming to an end pretty soon, so let's see if we can defeat these people. Come on, pass me. You can do this. You can do this. I believe in you. I like how they missed every single football. I kind of feel bad for them, but at the same time, that's pretty funny. And that was it for the round. Now that we've taken care of all that, we're in this video off here, so thank you all so much for watching this episode of Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion, and until next time, leave the gear to you. Oh yeah.